Okay, this is going to be a short review of what we did on Friday. We're on Unit 8, Lesson 1, which is converting metric units of length. One of the things that we learned on Friday was big to small is multiply, and we did that here. Big to small, you multiply. And what that means is you can take a big measurement, a big unit of measurement like kilometers, and if you're changing kilometers into a smaller unit of measurement like meters, you would go big to small. You would use multiplication as your operation. If you go from small to big, then you would be using divisions. For example, if you went from millimeters to meters, you would use division. What I want to go over with you, those who were not in school maybe on Friday, or maybe just a quick review, one of the things we learned about was called Ken-Hate states. So let me scroll over to that slide. We did a fun little saying called Ken-Hate states, since dates cost money, and we included that in our notes. The K stands for kilometers, the H stands for hectometers, the D stands for decameter, S stands for standard. Okay, and this particular lesson we're going to be talking about meters. D stands for decimeter, and then we just keep getting smaller, centimeter, millimeter. And so this little mnemonic device is going to help us remember the order from the largest unit of measurement all the way down to the smallest unit of measurement. In this case, we're doing kilometers, and the smallest unit of measurement is millimeters. In order to convert from one to the next, let me just get our screen here. In order to convert from one to the next, you're going to be using powers of 10. So let's say we're changing 5 meters and we want to change them into millimeters. We would do 5 times 10, 100, 1,000. We're actually doing 5 times 1,000, and that equals 5,000. Now, what you're wondering, why are there these loops here? Why are these loops here? Why am I teaching it to you like that? That's because another way, instead of multiplying it by 1,000, we can actually take our decimal point. In this case, 5 whole has a decimal point, imaginary decimal point, behind the 5. Multiplying it by 1,000 means we're going to shift it over 1, 2, 3 places, and that gives us 3 zeros that we would put there. So 5 meters is actually equal to 5,000 millimeters. And if you think about that, that actually makes a lot of sense, because millimeters are very tiny, the size of the staple, the thinness of the staple on the top of your page. So if you are changing meters into millimeters, there will certainly be a lot of little tiny millimeters that would make up 5 meters. When you think about that long yardstick that we had in class, it was actually called a meter stick. And that stick, if we had 5 of them, would be 5,000 little tiny staples next to each other. And this was your homework that you had the other day. And so let's just do a sample problem together. So if you have 27 and 13 hundredths of a kilometer, let me pull up my tools here if I can write with you. Get my drawing tools, see if I can draw. If we're going from kilometers, which is over here, and we're going to change it into little tiny millimeters, which is all the way over here, we're going to be starting at kilometers and moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to the right. And that means you're going to take this decimal point right here and you're going to scoot it over around the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm having trouble here, and 6, there we go, 6 places to the right. You're going to have all these additional places filled with zeros. And really, so our answer, if we wanted to change that and we're converting it, would be a 2, a 7, a 3, and 4 zeros behind it. And the decimal point ended up on the end there. So you have 1, 2, 3 kick, 1, 2, 3 kick. That's actually 27,130,000, and our label is millimeters. So that's our unit of measurement. Okay, if we can see that in that example. Now, if you watch the video that I sent before going over your homework, I went over every single question. So hopefully this is a refresher for you. In this one, we are starting with decimeters and we're changing to millimeters. And so we are going from big to small. We're going to multiply, and it's going to shift over 2 places. So you can see that this decimal point went 1, 2 places over to the right. And the decimal ends up landing behind the 2. So it's 902 millimeters. Again, think of lots of little guys are making up a bigger amount. So that's why we get more. Now, in this particular problem, I showed you the work here. You have 21 and 15 centimeters. And we're changing it into decameters. So if centimeters is here, decameters is all the way over here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 places over to the left. And this time we're actually dividing by 10 to the power of 3. And so that means we're dividing by 1,000. We're going to move it 3 places over, just like we moved 3 places over here. We go around the 1, around the 2, and we have an extra spot that we really want to put a 0 here. So when I rewrite my answer, I have decimal point 0, 2, 1, 5 decameters. Okay, let's go over to, you're going to skip these pages in your packet, and you're actually going to have this homework page. You're going to complete this on Google Forms and send me the answers. This particular problem here, they just want you to say what the label would be. So imagine if this is 251, imagine you have a decimal point here. How many scoops over would you need to make in order to turn that into 251,000? So the decimal point's there, you're going to need to scoop it 3 places over. So if you wrote Ken hates dates and dates cost money on the top of your homework sheet, on top of your packet, that will help you know how many places over to get from kilometers. You're going 3 places over. What unit of measurement would that be? Okay. Best of luck, everyone, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at metric units of volume. All right.